iPhone 15 Pro versus iPhone 16 Pro. That's the question. Should you upgrade to the latest and greatest 16 Pro or get a slightly discounted 15 Pro now that the new iPhone is out? That's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to go over every difference between the 15 and the 16 Pro models so that you know what you're getting into with each of these phones. Let's start with the outsides of the phones and then we'll move inside. The first and most obvious change is around the display. Maybe you've noticed, or maybe you haven't, but the bezels around the display of the 16 Pro are 30% smaller than the 15 Pro. Is it a huge difference? Nah, not really, but it does help the 16 Pro look just a touch newer or more modern. The display is also slightly bigger now at 6.3 inches instead of 6.1. More screen real estate is never a bad thing, but people with small hands might be a little bit annoyed that even more of their screen is out of reach this year. The phone has gotten a few millimeters bigger and a few grams heavier too. Not enough to be a nuisance in my opinion, but if you hold them both in your hand, you can feel the weight difference ever so slightly. Both phones have the ceramic shield glass front and back, but Apple claims that the 16 Pro's ceramic shield is stronger this year for better toughness. Both phones have titanium frames as well, but the iPhone 16 Pro has the new camera control button on the side that I talked about in depth in my last video. I'll briefly talk about it in the camera section of this video, but if you want to know everything that that button can do, go watch my last video. This 16 Pro has a new color too. It's called Desert Titanium. I'm not sure how many different shades of gold Apple can give the Pro lineup, but they do manage to make it sound cool every time. This one is a bit more of a cross between sand and rose gold. Fingerprints are fairly well hidden too, even on the frame where it is a little bit glossier. Now, moving inside the phone, let's talk about performance. The 16 Pro comes with the new A18 Pro chip, whereas the 15 Pro has the 17 Pro chip. Do I expect there to be a huge difference between the two in practical everyday use? Absolutely not. I did run Geekbench 6 on both of them, and it appears as though the A18 Pro is the winner. Surprise, surprise. But I don't think it really matters at the end of the day. I was really hoping for some better battery life on the 16 Pro though. My 15 Pro still has 99% of its battery health. Thank you for adding charging limits, Apple. And I was getting around 4 to 4.5 hours of screen on time before needing to charge up, which is obviously not that great. Some of the recent teardowns claim that the 16 Pro has a 3582 milliamp hour battery, which is almost 10% in size bigger than the 15 Pro. Another improvement is in charging, at least on the wireless side of things. The charging speed has been bumped up on the 16 Pro this year to 25 watts on a MagSafe charger compared to last year's 15. Wired charging via the USB-C port should be about the same though. Okay, let's talk cameras. That's where a lot of the improvements went this year. For starters, the ultra-wide camera is now 48 megapixels to match the main camera. That's up from 12 megapixels on the 15 Pro. That means sharper, more detailed ultra-wide photos and better macro photography since the ultra-wide is used for close-up shots. The telephoto is now 5x instead of 3x, but it's still sitting at 12 megapixels, so shots from the telephoto end aren't going to be as sharp as the other two cameras on the 16 Pro. On the video side of things, the iPhone 16 Pro can now shoot 4K video at up to 120 frames per second instead of 60 on the iPhone 15 Pro. The 15 Pro can still shoot at 120 frames per second slow-mo, but it's capped at 1080p instead of 4K. It might be niche, but that's a really cool thing to have on a phone. You usually have to have much bigger dedicated cameras, or at least action-oriented cameras to get that. Apple has also upgraded the microphones in the 16 Pro. They're now calling them a studio quality 4 microphone array. When you record a video, you can choose to edit the audio afterwards with Audio Mix, which can do things like isolate your voice from a video in which the background noise is really loud. Very cool, but again, pretty niche. And then there's camera control and all the new software features that come with it. We get a dedicated button for launching the camera, taking pictures, navigating through settings, and so on and so forth. The 15 Pro has none of that. But like I alluded to in the previous video, I also don't think that's a big deal. I find the camera control button to be a little bit finicky. It's in an awkward spot on the bottom right of the phone, and it can be a little bit difficult to actually get that gesture of double soft pressing to open the menu options. And also, when you do press down hard and take a photo, it shakes the phone and messes up the shot sometimes. I mean, how hard is it to just continue swiping through camera settings and tapping on the ones that you want to select? To me, the camera control feature is just solving a problem that nobody had to begin with. That's a little harsh maybe, but that's how I feel. I do like having an extra button to launch the camera, but that's probably all I'm ever gonna use it for. Now, I haven't even mentioned about the Apple Intelligence features yet, and that's for two reasons. One, the iPhone 15 Pro will be receiving all of the same Apple Intelligence features as the new 16 Pro, and two, those features aren't even out yet at the time that this video was released. That'll get its own video in a month or so, but they won't make much of a difference to your decision of a 15 Pro versus 16 Pro since they'll be sharing the same features when they do release. So the biggest upgrades here between the 16 Pro and the 15 Pro are in the slightly bigger screen size, the improved battery life, the better ultra-wide camera and longer telephoto camera, the addition of the camera control button, and some better video features like the improved mics and 4K 120 FPS video. Overall, not a huge upgrade from year to year. Obviously, if you have a 15 Pro, you'll be happy to know that you're not missing a whole lot and that you shouldn't upgrade to the 16 Pro. However, if you have an older phone and you're looking to upgrade, should you spring to the 16 Pro or should you look for a discounted 15 Pro? Well, for me, I wasn't entirely happy with the battery on my 15 Pro. I was getting, on average, like half the screen time as my S24 Ultra before having to charge up again. The 10% increase in battery capacity on the 16 Pro is definitely a welcome upgrade, but the rest of it, I mean, there's some nice to haves for sure, but I could probably do without all of it. Personally, I'd rather take a couple $100 in my pocket with the discounted 15 Pro over the new 16 Pro, but hey, that's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Hope you liked the video, thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day.